Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
And welcome back to the Scrapyard, friends. As always, I'm your host, Barnabas Tone.
And this is me, your co-host, Frederick Allen Seto. Wow, what a tournament we have today. Barry, I know you know what my favorite thing in the world is.
Telling the world's worst jokes?
No, not that. And my jokes are great, by the way. I'm talking about my other favorite thing. Cartoons. I've invited 10 of the best cartoon drivers of all time to enter a tournament here at the Scrapyard, with an ultra super secret bonus at the end of it all. I'm so excited, so let's just get into it and meet our drivers. Our first driver received his driving skills being a commando and a ninja for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. That's right, from Team G.I. Joe, I'm talking about the silent master himself, Snake Eyes. Our second driver isn't only part of a team, but also the leader of one. Well, not really a team, more of a gang. It's longtime speed racer rival and leader of the gang of assassins, Assassin Number 1. His teammate and fellow gang member is also racing in this tournament, but we'll meet him later. Now, Barry, let's get up to the guillotine gate and get this tournament started.
What about the other racers? The tournament rules? The event bracket? The ultra secret bonus at the end of it all?
Don't worry about that now, Barry. I'll explain it all along the way. For now, let's just get racing. Here we are, Heat 1 of Race 1. Like always, our races consist of 3 heats. But there's a catch for this tournament, Barry.
I'm still hoping it's that you're gonna spare us all from your bad comedy, Al.
No, Barry, I'm being serious. We usually do the most wins out of 3 heat advances, but since these are the best cartoon racers of all times, we're upping the ante. If no one wins after 3 heats, both racers are eliminated.
So, no sudden death?
No sudden death, no overtime, no extra heats. Only one new rule, but that's for the ultra super secret bonus at the end of it all. Now let's start the countdown.
Wait, I stepped away from the mic to grab my coffee as you were talking.
Oh no, not you, Barry. I even got a special cartoon guest to do the countdown for the whole tournament.
3, 2, 1, go!
Whoa, the snake is loose!
Assassin into the clunkers! You're spinning!
G.I. Joe takes it at the line! Well, at least his Jeep does.
Wow! What a way to start this tournament, Barry! I need to see it again in the replay. That was intense, Barry.
I thought ninjas had perfect balance. What's with a strange driving position for the G.I. Joe?
That Jeep does not have a roll bar, and ninjas have a heightened sense of perception, so maybe he was preparing for the upcoming roll.
Are you saying he knew he was going to flip before the crash?
Maybe. Ninjas are mysterious and dangerous.
What is really dangerous is not wearing a seatbelt, especially in a Jeep with no roll bar. Look at the way the G.I. Joe is ejected from his vehicle and tumbles down the length of the bottleneck.
Those are ninja rolls, Barry.
Well, speaking of rolling, his Jeep is still rolling while he's nowhere in sight.
Or maybe he's in plain sight and we just can't see him. Ninjas are masters of stealth.
Meanwhile, Assassin Number 1 has not stopped spinning since he entered the bottleneck, and he actually ping-pongs his way through Clunker Canyon, sending 3 clunkers off the cliff. And yet somehow, mysteriously, the driverless Jeep manages to not only pass the assassin, but to win the race and take out our finish line cam.
See? I told you ninjas were mysterious. Well, with that display of acrobatic ninja rolls and stealthy mystery, Snake Eyes puts the first win of the tournament on the scorecard. We are back at the guillotine for Heat 2. Safety officials have reset the clunkers and we are clear to start. It looks like Snake Eyes is trying the standard seating position for this heat.
Let's hope he has his seatbelt on this time so he's secure. And fans, speaking of being secure, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can be secure that you'll never miss one of our races.
3, 2, 1, go!
Snake Eyes rolls again!
Assassin hits the clunkers!
But he's able to hold it on the track and cross the line. That was much cleaner, Barry.
What are you talking about? The G.I. Joe flipped his Jeep again!
No, this time he made the whole Jeep do a ninja roll. Maybe that's why he took a different seating position. He's putting on a clinic of ninja techniques.
The only clinic he's supposed to be putting on is how to win races. I know the guy is silent, but is his hearing okay? He knows he's supposed to win races, right?
Maybe. Ninjas are mysterious and dangerous.
Well, someone who is trying to win the race is the assassin. As the G.I. Joe comes to a screeching halt, the assassin tears out of Carmine Corner. He hits a few clunkers making his way through Clunker Canyon, but he manages to make it through.
And he manages to spin in a perfectly straight line, avoiding the safety rocks after the finish line.
And more importantly, our finish line cam was also avoided by the assassin.
Well, one thing the assassin did not avoid was putting a win on the scorecard. And just like that, our race is all tied up.
Looks like we have a lane change for Heat 3.
More important than that, Barry, it's all tied up. And remember, there are no extra heats. If no one wins here, both racers are eliminated. And to up the intensity even more, the safety officials have not reset the clunkers. So who knows what can happen in Clunker Canyon.
3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go!
Oh no! Assassin hard into the clunkers!
And he crosses the line.
Okay, Al, this is the last heat. I haven't said anything until now, but can we talk about these replay corner cards?
Oh, I named all the parts of the track, Barry.
What?
Yeah, see, we're the only racing channel in existence that has the guillotine gate. We invented it, and I got tired of calling the downhill because it sounded so generic, so I named it Nevada.
The state of Nevada is known as the Great Basin.
No. Not Nevada like the state. I named it after Nevada Street, which is arguably the steepest hill in San Francisco. And of course, we have the bottleneck, because as you know, that's the thinnest part of our track.
Okay, enough of that for now. Let's talk about Carmine Corner.
That's named after famous Portuguese rally race car driver
Yes,
Crazy
I know
Carmine.
how that and Clunker Canyon got their names. I'm talking about, let's talk about what happened to the G.I. Joe.
That might be my fault, Barry.
What? How so?
Well, I think I might have not have properly explained the tournament to Snake Eyes when I originally spoke to him. I told him we were having a cartoon tournament and said he could show off some of his sick ninja moves on the track.
Did you mention it was a race?
I think I might have forgotten that part.
And he didn't mention it?
Of course not! He's a mute ninja. He doesn't mention anything.
And
after Heat 2, I heard the assassin bragging to Snake Eyes how he was gonna win the whole race. And I think Snake Eyes figured out this wasn't a vehicular ninja skills demonstration and committed vehicular seppuku out of shame.
Now, Al, we don't know that for sure. You said so yourself. Ninjas are mysterious. And I'd just like to remind everybody, he went off track. And off track is not our property. And you knows what we say around here about that. Not our property, not our problem. Wild Bob is right, Al. Oh, why don't we focus on the final straight? What new name did you give it?
It's called the Boulevard.
And why is that, Al?
Because at almost 5 cars wide, it's the widest part of the track here at the Scrapyard.
Wow, I love it, Al.
You really like it, Barry?
Sure. Whatever gets you off the topic of dead ninjas.
What?
I said let's take a look at that scorecard. Amazingly, with only 3 wheels, Assassin number 1 was still able to put off his second win and be the overall winner in today's race. So what now, Al?
Well, Assassin number 1 will move on to race 6, where he'll eventually face the winner from the race between his teammate, fellow gang member Assassin number 2, and the kids of Mystery Incorporated. But before that, it's gonna be race 2, between a bunch of heroes in a half shell and another mysterious driver, Racer X.
No more ninjas.
He's not a ninja. At least I don't think he's a ninja. But he is mysterious and dangerous. Who knows?
Did you talk to anyone properly before setting up this tournament?
Well, fans, what did you think of our first race in the cartoon serial? Please let us know in the comments below. Wow! After that action-packed, drama-filled opening race, I can't wait to get to today's race. That's right, it's race 2 of the cartoon serial. Play on words. Today, it's Racer X versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I thought you said no more ninjas. So instead of one ninja competing today, everyone is a ninja?
No, you said no more ninjas. Besides, we're not 100% sure whether or not Racer X classifies as a ninja. But enough about that. Let's look at today's racers. Up first, racing in the beautiful car known as the Shooting Star, it's the dangerous and mysterious Racer X.
How is he not a ninja? You said the same exact thing about the G.I. Joe ninja in the last race.
Quiet, Barry. Moving on. It's the most bodacious, pizza-loving dudes with attitudes. This, or any side of the sewer, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What is that next to them? Did they bring a giant vat of pea soup?
That's not soup. That's the ooze.
What the heck is ooze?
Forget it. You don't know the secret of the ooze, Barry. Go ninja, go ninja,
Can we
go!
please show some decorum and get up to the guillotine gate and get this race started, please?
You got it, Barry. Here we are at Heat 1 of Race 2. We have Racer X in Lane 1, and driving for Team TMNT, it's Raphael in Lane 2.
Are you sure that stuff wasn't soup, Al?
What? No, not now, Barry. I'm trying to start the race.
It would probably go great with some pasta. I could call it turtellini.
Oh, shut up.
3, 2, 1, go!
Turtles are on their back.
Racer X into the walls.
He can't get it restarted. This one is all over. Let's break it all down in the replay. Let's take a closer look here, Al. Look at that impressive jump Racer X gets off the line right at the gate.
It's gonna be hard to beat a race car off the line.
He immediately goes in for the block.
Maybe instead of the party wagon, the Turtles should have brought the sewer dragster. In this shot, you can see how effective that block was as they come down Nevada.
But it completely backfires as Racer X is the one that goes on his helmet all the way through the bottleneck.
Then the fates change again as Racer X gets back on his wheels and the Turtles smack into the EMT van in Carmine Corner.
Maybe EMT was too close to TMNT, and they were trying to get rid of any knockoffs.
Well, the only thing that did get knocked off was their chance at a finish. Meanwhile, in Clunker Canyon, Racer X pulls off one of the most beautiful high-speed J-turns I've ever seen.
And yet it was all for nothing because he goes ping-ponging his way through the boulevard and stalls about halfway through.
Unfortunately, the turtles couldn't get the party started, and the shooting star burned out, entering the atmosphere.
Oh my goodness. Hello, Mr. Melodrama.
Hush, Barry. So it's a big no on the scorecard for both racers. We are back at the guillotine gate for Heat 2.
Where is Racer X?
In the driver's seat?
No, he's not.
I think he just dropped his cell phone and is reaching around to pick it up.
He shouldn't be on his phone in the middle of a race.
Oh, not now, Barry. The countdown is starting.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're even.
Turtles take the lead.
Racer X into the clunkers. Turtles crash.
Racer X can't get around and crashes the turtles' party wagon.
Fans, I think this race just turned into a giant public safety announcement for car safety. Do not look for your phone while you're driving.
Maybe he had the launch control on, Barry, because he still gets a pretty decent launch off the line and is able to keep up with the turtles coming down Nevada. Plus, I'm not sure if that was a long, controlled drift in the bottleneck, or if Racer X was trying to see if he left his phone back up in the guillotine gate. But either way, it looked pretty sweet. Additionally, it looks like even the turtles decided to help him look, because they pull into reverse coming into Carmine Corner.
Again, no one should be looking for a cell phone during a race. Or while they're driving. Be safe out there, fans.
Never mind that, Barry. Check out the way while in reverse the turtles actually go airborne in Clunker Canyon. Cowabunga, dudes! But even cooler still was the way Racer X is able to use the clunkers to swing his car back around.
It looks like the turtles try to do the same move to be able to cross the line going in the right direction, but hit the walls on the boulevard and get flipped on their shells.
And unfortunately, Racer X can't get around and smacks right into the turtle van.
Well, hopefully in all that commotion, he found his phone, so he could call himself a tow truck to get him back up to the guillotine gate.
No one should be looking for their phones while they're driving.
Well, one thing that it seems like no one is looking for is wins on the scorecard, because it's 2 no's once again. And I just want to remind all of you fans out there that there are no extra heats in this tournament. If no one wins, both racers are eliminated. Here we are, the final heat. If no one wins, both racers go home.
It looks like Racer X went home already. Where is he?
He actually ended up finding his phone.
So
He had an important call to make. So he decided to just send his car down on its own. And you said so yourself, not to use the phone while driving.
That's not what I meant. That's even more dangerous.
Too late for that now, Barry. The countdown is starting.
3, 2, 1, go!
The shooting star blocks.
Turtles break loose.
Oh no, a blowout.
Turtles cross.
Oh no, watch out.
That was complete bedlam.
Does that mean awesome? Because yes, it was, Barry. Look at the way, on its own, the shooting star closes the door on the turtles and pulls off a beautiful block coming down Nevada.
But that turtle van must weigh 3 times more than that race car and pushes through on the inside of the bottleneck.
And since backwards worked so well for them in Heat 2, the turtles again kick it into reverse coming around Carmine Corner. And unlike Heat 2, they kick it back around early. Meanwhile, the shooting star has a massive blowout and flips end over end.
Thank goodness he wasn't in that car.
What? Really?
Moving on. That loud crash must have rocked the turtles because they'd lose it in the boulevard and slam hard into our finish line cam.
And the finish line cam regains the image just in time to watch the shooting star ram right into it as well. In Heat 3, not only did both racers finish, but our camera was finished as well.
But only one finishes first. It looks like the turtles and their wagon win the race and will move on to party once again.
That's right. And the turtles will secure the first spot in the semifinals and face whomever wins race 4 between Speed Buggy and phone call recipient Speed Racer.
What? What are you talking about, Al?
Oh, that's who Racer X was calling. He was calling Speed Racer to wish him good luck in his race.
At that moment, his own race wasn't even over.
Like I said before, Barry, ninjas are mysterious, but before all that, we'll have to see who wins race 3 as the kids from Mystery Incorporated take on Assassin number 2. Be sure to be back for that one, fans.
Mysterious ninjas, Mystery Incorporated. Can we get some normal cartoons around here? Is Gumby in this tournament?
Gumby wasn't a cartoon, Barry. He was made of clay.
And how about Davy and Goliath?
That's stop motion. Today is race 3, and this is a vital race. We are looking to fill the last wild card spot to see who will face Assassin number 1 in race 6. Let's take a closer look at today's contestants. Zoinks! Starting out in lane 1, driving for Mystery Incorporated, it's Shaggy. I don't know how this guy is as a driver, but if this was a who can eat a 2-foot-tall sandwich contest, my money would be on Shaggy.
Al, I'll have you know, as employees of the Scrapyard, we're banned from placing bets on any of today's racers.
Oh, it's a figure of speech. Anyway, up next, starting off in lane 2, it's the second member of the gang of assassins in our tournament, Assassin number 2. We've already seen his team leader race and win in this tournament's opening event. So let's see if he can repeat his boss's performance. Now, let's see who wants that wildcard spot the most and get up to the guillotine gate to get this race started.
Here we are at the guillotine gate. In lane 1 is Shaggy in possibly the most iconic cartoon van in history.
That's right. Sorry, Ninja Turtles, but the Mystery Machine is the original party wagon.
And in lane number 2, it's Assassin number 2.
Yeah, that thing is very far from a groovy van. It's a heavily modified 3-wheeler. And as the lead assassin showed us, it's fast, light, agile, and very capable of winning.
And speaking of whining, let's get to that chipmunk that stole my countdown gig.
I said winning, not whining.
Oh, whatever.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin flips!
Did he just hit the brakes in a race?
Jinkies!
Wow, what a wreck. This one is all over.
Let's see it again in the replay. Barry, I have no idea what just happened.
I think I have a theory, Al, but it's still too early to be sure. For now, let's just break down this heat. In that modified racer, Assassin number 2 easily gets the jump off the line coming out of the guillotine gate. Then, on his way down Nevada, he does an amazing somersault kind of block that I've never seen in all my years as an announcer.
And that's a lot of years.
Hey, watch it, rookie. As I was saying, that block causes the van to spin its way through the bottleneck. And it proved it's well named because it's a mystery how that machine didn't flip.
But what is an actual mystery, Barry, is why, after delivering such a block and with the upper hand, why did Assassin number 2 slam on the brakes in the apex of Carmine Corner?
It seems like that crazy flip block had a delayed effect, because not only does the van go hard into the clunkers in Clunker Canyon, but he goes over the edge.
That was wilder than the time I went over Niagara Falls without a barrel. And you can see from this bonus shot from the finish line cam how one of them loose clunkers made it halfway down the boulevard. We almost had ourselves Captain Planet as the winner.
Captain Planet?
That's cartoon talk for a clunker, because there ain't no bigger cartoon clunker than Captain Planet.
Bob, what are you even doing on the line? Shouldn't you be flying the Yellow Jacket over there to rescue that van?
Well, I can clearly see you ain't much of a cartoon watcher, Barry. Everyone knows that whenever a toon falls off a cliff, they'll be right as rain in the next shot.
And speaking of shots, everyone missed their shot at a win.
And that means 2 big no's on the scorecard, Barry.
Well, would you look at that?
Wow, Bob was right. He's in a different lane, but that mystery machine looks good as new.
See? I told you.
Okay. We might need you to pilot the Yellow Jacket, so don't break your arm patting yourself on the back.
Heck, I can fly my whirlybird with no hands and my eyes closed.
Yes, I've seen how you fly, and that sounds about right.
Why, I ought to get you, Barry. I almost wasn't saying a special friend.
Sorry, Bob. The countdown is about to start.
3, 2, 1, go!
Another block!
Again with the brakes?
The van is on its side!
Oh, so close. Close, but no Scooby Snack. So, aside from no one falling off a cliff, that was almost a duplicate run as Heat 1, Barry. Care to tell us how that fits into your mystery theory?
Well, we'll find out in the next heat if my theory is right or not. But for now, let's just focus on this heat. This time in the bottleneck, Assassin number 2 tries some front-end pit maneuver. Al, I've never seen moves like this before. And look at this. He comes down the length of the bottleneck, perpendicular to the van, waiting for his next move to strike again.
And he gets that moment, Barry, because he sends the mystery machine into Carmine Corner on his side. And then he slams on the brakes again and pulls off the track. Just what is going on?
Heck, I'll tell you what's going on. It's that assassin might be looking to get himself all types of assassinated if he ever gets that close to the Yellow Jacket again.
Speaking of side, the mystery machine is on its side, all the way through Clunker Canyon.
And Shaggy almost made it all the way down the boulevard as well. But he came up just a bit short. But the one thing that's not coming up short are no's on the scorecard. And just a reminder, like I've been saying since race 1, for this tournament there are no extra heats. If no one wins, both racers are eliminated. Here we are, the final heat. There's a lot riding on this one, Barry.
Seemingly more than we might know, Al.
Well, mystery theories or not, someone needs to pull out a win in this heat. So let's get to it and get this countdown started.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're spinning!
It's pandemonium in Clunker Canyon!
And they come to a screeching halt in the boulevard. Wow! Let's get to that replay. Okay, mystery man. Did your conspiracy theory come true?
Well, you can see it for yourself if you allow me to explain.
Please. I'm dying to know what it is, and I'm sure the fans are as well.
Okay, Al. Let me know when it clicks. As always, the racer is easily the first one out of the gate. He immediately cuts in front of the van and gets it spinning through the bottleneck. But in Carmine Corner, he delivers an upside-down inverted block. The creativity and skill of this assassin is inspiring. Definitely one of the best drivers we've ever had here at the track. And to prove it, not only does he do that block once, but he delivers it again inside Clunker Canyon. And that's just too much for the mystery machine, and it goes tumbling down the canyon. And then it comes to a spinning stop in the boulevard.
So if the assassin was such an amazing driver, how come he couldn't score a win?
Oh, he did. Sort of. No one put a win on the scorecard. In this heat or in the race. And this was a wild card race, and you said so yourself, Al. If no one wins, both racers go home. So
there's no one to fill the wild card spot. That means there's no one to face Assassin number 1 in race 6. So Assassin 2 just set up his boss with a free spot in the semifinals. This whole race was a setup. It's a setup!
See, I told you you'd get it when it clicked.
So did he throw the race?
No, Al. He chose not to win. There's a difference. Here at the Scrapyard, we always say you could win by making it across the line any way possible. So, Assassin number 2, taking one for the team, just helped the leader of his gang win race number 6. Any way possible.
Do we have any other racers that are on the same team?
I don't know, Al. This is your tournament. I guess it depends what you have set up for your super secret bonus at the end of it all that you keep talking about.
Oh no, that has nothing to do with teams or teammates, but it's going to be mind-blowing. But that's still a long ways away, Barry. Let's just focus on the next race, and you will be really, really happy. There's no ninjas in it, just a kid and a living car. So hopefully things get back to normal.
A living car is normal?
It is for the cartoon serial, Barry.
Today is race 4, and it's all about speed.
Literally.
It's Speed Racer versus Speed Buggy. One was born to race, and the other was built to race.
Literally.
Will you cut that out? Why don't you stop fooling around and do your job, like introducing the fans to today's racers?
Big race today.
In Lane 1, long before there was ever any lightning in McQueen, this living car raced around the world solving mysteries and crimes. It's the original living race car. Dune Buggy. It's the one and only Speed Buggy. And up next in Lane 2, it's another racer whose first name is Speed. Speed Racer, racing in the iconic Mach 5. This beautiful car was created and built by Speed's own father, Pops Racer. This car is a technological marvel, containing all sorts of useful gadgets and pieces of equipment.
Now that we've met both racers, let's get up to...
they're not both named Racer, but they are both named Speed.
I meant racers. Literally.
Hey, now you're doing it. Anyway, Barry, let's stop wasting the fans' time and get up to the guillotine gate and get this race started.
I was literally trying to say that before you interrupted me. Starting off in Lane 1, it's Speed Buggy, and in Lane 2, it's Speed Racer.
Actually, Barry, it's gonna stay that way because today is Saturday.
So, what's that have to do with anything?
It's in the safety officials' contracts that they get off Saturdays to stay home and watch cartoons.
But we have cartoons right here on the track. Literally.
Will you cut that out? Why don't you stop fooling around and do your job, like telling the chipmunk to start the countdown?
3, 2, 1, go!
They're even.
Speed crashes! Racer, that is.
The buggy is all alone.
Whoa, look out! Wow! What a way to start this race! You can see why they're both named Speed. They tear out of the guillotine gate, perfectly even.
And they stay even all the way down Nevada. But then Speed Racer gets into trouble in the bottleneck. While trying for a pit maneuver, Speed Racer does get that buggy spinning, but ends up sending the Mach 5 into the wall and he flips.
He doesn't only flip, Barry. Speed Racer and the Mach 5 are both ejected off the track. Luckily, I noticed Speed Racer tuck and roll at the last possible second. Man, that kid is good. But as a result, Speed Buggy is all alone going into Carmine Corner. And you can see what happens when the safety officials have the day off. We end up with a loose road cone on the track. Thankfully, Speed Buggy easily steers around it. And check out this little bunny hop Speed Buggy pulls off in Clunker Canyon, just to show off to the cameras. Then Speed Buggy comes burning down the boulevard and across the finish line like he's on a mission.
A mission to what? Destroy the finish line, Cam? Is he going to pay for that? Do living cars even have a wallet? Or a bank account?
All good questions, Barry. I guess lucky for Speed Buggy, the safety officials are off, so there's no one here to charge him for that camera.
It looks like Speed Buggy has a lot of luck today because he was also lucky enough to put the first win on today's scorecard. Here we are back at the guillotine gate for Heat 2.
And we can see how effective the tuck and roll is because Speed Racer doesn't even have a scratch on his helmet.
The same can't be said about our finish line, Cam.
Oh, don't worry, Barry. While you were reading the Heat 1 scorecard, I ran down there and put your phone on a tripod.
You did what?
Shh, not now, Barry. The countdown is starting.
3, 2, 1, go!
They go wide.
Whoa, what a block!
Speed Racer ejected again.
But the Mach 5 is still in it. And so is the road cone? Oh no, watch out!
My phone!
Wow, that was crazy, Barry.
My phone!
I know, right? It must have exploded in like to a billion pieces. But we'll get to that in time, Barry. Look at the way the two speeds go wide once the guillotine gate opens up. And they are both hugging that wall as they race down Nevada. Then, in the bottleneck, Speed Racer uses one of his gadgets in the Mach 5 to do some kind of crazy sideways block. And then right at the end, wham! He sends Speed Buggy slamming into that barrel, and he ricochets hard to the other side and then crashes into the bottleneck cam.
So now that's 2 cameras he's broken?
Yeah, he's really lucky that the safety crew is off today, or he'd be racking up those bills. And speaking of the safety crew being off today, there was no one here to pick up that loose safety cone. Or was there? And I think Speed Racer must have seen it early. And to avoid an accident, he goes right back into his trusty old tuck and roll. But before he ejected, he managed to put the Mach 5 in reverse and put on the cruise control. And amazingly, while the Mach 5 leaves its driver behind, it picks up a hitchhiker. The road cone! And coming into Clunker Canyon, it's actually the road cone that's leading the race. But Speed must have also hit the big show button because not only does the Mach 5 retake the lead, but it takes out the last clunker, setting up a spectacular chain reaction. Then it does an extreme 520 turn down the boulevard to cross the line facing forward.
And destroy my phone.
We don't know that for sure, Barry. I'll tell you what, you do the scorecard again, and I'll run down there to check it out.
Well, to prove to Speed Buggy he's not the only self-driving car on the track today, the Mach 5 puts a win on the scorecard, making this race all tied up.
Speaking of tied up, your phone is actually not that bad, but the tripod was destroyed. So I took your phone and tied it up to a stick, so we should be all good to go for Heat 3.
Bring it back.
Oh geez, I've only been gone for a minute, and you missed me already? Alright, I'll be right up.
I meant my phone, not you.
Here we are for the final heat. All cameras are ready to go.
All cameras are ready to go? I thought Speed Buggy took out the bottleneck cam.
He did, Barry, but no problem. When I tied your phone to a stick, I also backed up your car to the bottleneck.
My car?
Yeah, Barry. Without the safety crew here, I had to think fast, and your car is the only car here with a backup cam. So we're using that.
My car?
It'll be fine, Barry. Plus, no time to worry. The countdown is starting.
3, 2, 1, go!
Even again.
My car is spared.
Another tuck and roll. Speed Buggy makes it. Watch out!
My phone!
Wow, Barry. Let's break it all down.
Speaking of broken, what about my phone?
Look at the way they both tear out of the guillotine. And they keep it nice and clean coming down Nevada. But Speed Racer goes for a pit maneuver inside the bottleneck, but totally misses it.
More importantly, they both missed my car as well.
And that causes him to go barrel rolling into Carmine Corner, and he loses it completely.
Speaking of losing things completely, how's my phone?
Talking about avoiding things, look at the way Speed Buggy is capable of avoiding all the clunkers as he spins through Clunker Canyon.
And what's with this shot?
Barry, I didn't have much time to set up your phone on that stick, so this was as close to center as I could get it. Plus, I thought if I set it off a little to the side, it would keep your phone safe.
Well, you thought wrong.
I know, and you should thank me for it, because look at that spectacular crash at the end. The fans must be off their seats, Barry. Speed Buggy was able to cross the line and put a second win on the scorecard, making him tonight's winner. Plus, with this win, he just locked up his space to face Raphael in the Party Wagon in the first race of the semifinals. But before that, it'll be race 5, where the most powerful man in the universe takes on the world's fastest car, the GRX. And those have to be two of the glitteriest cars I've ever seen. Wow, what a crucial race we have today. It's the fastest car in the world versus the most powerful man in the universe.
And one of them will win the final spot in the semifinals.
Exactly, and that's what makes it crucialer. Whatever. It's important. So let's take a closer look at today's racers. Up first, it's a car developed by the late Ben Cranham. It's now in the hands of Oriana Flubb. It's been labeled the fastest car in the world. It's the one and only, the GRX. Then we have He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Man, I've always wanted to say that.
What is that? A green tiger? There's no pets allowed here at the Scrapyard.
That's not a pet, Barry. That's Battle Cat. I guess you could call him He-Man's daily driver. I bet regular cartoon fans probably thought he'd be in the Road Ripper, but not today. Today, he'll be racing in the Snake Buster.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Al. Are you still speaking English?
See if you could understand this, Barry. Let's stop wasting the fans' time and get up to the guillotine gate to get this race started.
Now you're speaking my language. Starting off in lane 1, it's the GRX. And in lane 2, it's He-Man.
I've never seen the Snake Buster on the track, so I have no idea what it can do. But the GRX is rumored to be able to break the sound barrier. I hope he's going to be able to keep that car on the track. I'm so excited, Barry. Cue the chipmunk.
3, 2, 1, go!
He-Man leads.
Oh no!
Back up, muscle boy!
Who said that?
GRX into the clunkers! GRX into the wall!
He can't get that thing restarted. This one is all over.
Wow! What a wild way to start this one, Barry. They both rocket out of the guillotine gate. The Snake Buster might actually be faster than the GRX off the line.
It seems that way, Al, because He-Man gets an early lead coming down Nevada. I know he's only a hired racer, but Lewis better step up his game if he wants to earn his paycheck. The GRX has trouble coming into the bottleneck, but not He-Man in that Snake Buster. He power slides his way through.
However, He-Man does have a massive amount of trouble in Carmine Corner. You can say it was mountain-sized. Snake Mountain.
What are you talking about, Al?
It's He-Man. I don't think he can see Snake Mountain without trying to go defeat Skeletor.
Skella who?
Not Skella-who. Skeletor. He-Man's arch-enemy.
Well, while he decided to play hero, Lewis decided to get it into gear. Reverse gear, that is, because that's how he takes Carmine Corner and the lead.
And he's able to kick that car around coming into Clunker Canyon. But he might have overcorrected, because he slams into those clunkers, causing an amazing avalanche.
And it looks like it was just too much for the GRX to handle, because he goes pinballing off the walls in the boulevard and can't get that car restarted. I hope Miss Oriana Flubb didn't prepay this driver, because she may want her money back.
Well, neither the GRX or He-Man was able to make it across the line, so that's a big no on the scorecard for both racers. And just as a reminder, if no one wins after 3 heats, both racers are eliminated.
Here we are back at the Guillotine Gate for Heat 2. Looks like the racers decided to keep the same lanes as Heat 1.
Well, let's hope that we don't get the same performance as Heat 1. We're looking for a win here.
I just got word the clunkers have been reset and we're good to go. Good luck to both racers.
3, 2, 1, go!
He-Man leads!
Again!
I have you now, you muscle-bound oaf!
Skeletor! Skeletor! GRX across the line. Oh no, watch out! Wow, that was incredible, Barry. I thought we were going to get a repeat of Heat 1. It started out the same, but what we got was so much more. Again, He-Man was first off the line coming out of the guillotine.
And then he immediately cuts across coming down Nevada, leaving the GRX in his wake.
And the GRX almost loses it trying to catch up. How did he not flip over? Wow, that was a monumental save. And speaking of monuments, again, He-Man is apparently more attracted to Snake Mountain than he is at winning.
And also again, the GRX takes Carmine Corner in reverse. Plus, it looks like Lewis was trying to see if the GRX will hit that sound barrier limit going backwards, because he's like a missile coming down Clunker Canyon.
And he's still gaining speed as he comes down the boulevard and takes the checkered flag.
Unfortunately, Al, he takes the finish line cam along with it.
With that subsonic display of speed, the GRX puts the first win on the scorecard.
He-Man really needs to find a way to keep his eyes on the track and off that Cobra Castle.
Cobra Castle is G.I. Joe. I think you mean Snake Mountain.
Oh, whatever.
Here we are, the final heat. He-Man needs a win here to force a tiebreaker.
Well, he's opted for the lane change, so let's see what he has planned. Race fans, it could all come down to this heat. So get off your seats, because this heat is a go.
3, 2, 1, go!
He-Man leads!
The GRX loses it!
Stop him, you fool!
He-Man makes it through! Upside down? Will he make it?
Oh, so close! This one is all over!
I can't remember when I've had a more pleasant day.
Wow, Barry, I really thought He-Man was gonna take this one. He was 3 for 3 in being the first one out of the guillotine gate. And again, he kept the GRX at bay coming down Nevada by cutting out in front. But while he gets a little unstable in the bottleneck, it's the GRX who goes swooping off track. And He-Man goes into Carmine Corner, following your advice, Barry. Literally.
How so, Al?
During the scorecard, was it not you who said,
He-Man needs to keep his eyes off Snake Mountain and keep them on the track?
well, he did. By literally keeping his eyes on the track, he fought off his temptation to fight off Skeletor.
Fortunately, he had built up enough speed to scrape his way through the rest of the race. Unfortunately, it must be pretty hard to steer when you're upside down and backwards, and he just taps that last clunker in Clunker Canyon.
And that lines him up with the outside wall in the boulevard, and that just further slows down the most powerful man in the universe. It's a shame He-Man was driving and not Mechaneck, because he would have been able to stretch his neck across the line and force a tiebreaker.
Mecha who?
Oh, never mind, Barry. He's just the coolest guy after Trapjaw. Unfortunately, the most powerful man in the universe's neck was too short, and he couldn't force a tiebreaker. And with the GRX seemingly leaving the track early to go pick up his check, no one put a win on the scorecard for this heat. But with one previous win, the GRX is still tonight's winner. And while he'll be sending He-Man back to Eternia, he'll be sending himself into the last spot of the semi-finals, where he'll face the boss of the Gang of Assassins, Assassin number 1. However, before that, it'll be race 1 of the semifinals, where Raphael takes on Speed Buggy. And don't forget, there's still my super secret bonus at the end of it all, but you're gonna have to wait for that one. We are now in the semifinal rounds.
Why don't we do a quick recap of who is racing today?
Big race today.
Up first, it's Speed Buggy, and he got here today by sending the other Speed back to the garage. That's right, Speed Buggy beat Speed Racer back in race 4. Then, joining today's party, it's the Party Wagon. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and They proved ninjas racing as a team are much better than mysterious ninjas racing solo, because all the way back in Race 2, they sent the reclusive Racer X back into the shadows. Now, Barry, let's get up to the guillotine gate and get these semifinals started.
Starting off in lane 1, it's the Ninja Turtles. And in lane 2, it's Speed Buggy.
I have no idea what to expect, Barry. These racers are so different. One is a van driven by a team, and the other is a dune buggy driven by itself. I think the only thing they have in common is both their front bumpers have big mouths.
And speaking of big mouths, why don't you shut yours so the chipmunk can do his job?
Mouth shut. Hit it, Alvin.
3, 2, 1, go!
Turtles into the wall!
Speed buggy speeds through.
The turtles stall!
Speed buggy like a rocket. Oh no, watch out!
The camera!
What a way to kick off the semifinals! They both rip out of the guillotine gate pretty evenly. Then in Nevada, I think the party wagon was going wide to set up for a block in the bottleneck, but it gets too close to the wall and wham! He hits it hard.
And Speed Buggy tears through the bottleneck, and then on his way out, he pulls a drifting turn so he can confirm how big of a lead he has over the turtles.
Meanwhile, the party wagon just skid and spin its way through, as helpless as a turtle on its back.
Then coming into Carmine Corner, Speed Buggy is all out and gaining speed.
And it looks like all that shifting from drive to reverse must have blown a transmission gasket in the party wagon, because it limps to the inside shoulder of Carmine Corner, causing the engine to sputter and shut off.
And the buggy, knowing it's all alone, does some showboating and drifts down Clunker Canyon at full speed.
Unfortunately, it looks like Speed Buggy doesn't know how to shut off that showboating, because he uses our finish line cam as his brakes.
And speaking of brakes, we break at least one camera per race. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep count. Who knows? Maybe we'll go 3 cameras for 3 heats. So far, we're at 1.
And speaking of one, W-O-N, not O-N-E, Speed Buggy just won and puts the first win on the scorecard.
Here we are back at the guillotine gate for Heat 2. It looks like those turtles were able to fix their wagon in the time it took us to do the replay.
I'm sure it was no problem, because like their theme song says, Donatello does machines. And what I do is countdowns. Cue the chipmunk.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're even!
Turtles lead!
Into the clunkers! Oh no, watch out!
Well, look who just got back in the race. Maybe Donatello cranked that transmission to 11.
Coming down Nevada, those 2 racers appear to be welded together at the fenders.
They exchange a few taps in the bottleneck, but they both pretty much make it through unfazed.
Then, taking the inside lane through Clunker Canyon, the turtles start to make their move and take the lead.
The turtles actually catch some air coming into Clunker Canyon, and they use a clunker to turn their van around. That was some precision driving. I wonder if Raphael let Leonardo take the wheel for that move.
But precision quickly turns into calamity because they spin the length of the boulevard and across the line and, of course, into the finish line cam. And you know what I have to say about that, Al?
Yeah, unfortunately I do.
That makes 2.
Well, in Heat 2, the Turtles were able to tie it all up and stay in the game. Wow, these semifinals are intense.
We are back at the gate for the final heat. This is the first semi-final race, and here we are with a tiebreaker.
I'm so super excited, Barry. In fact, I was so super excited, I forgot to tell the crew to reset the clunkers. So if anyone was planning to turn up the heat, this is the moment to set things on fire. I can't wait anymore. Start counting, Chipmunk.
3, 2, 1, go!
Even again.
Oh my goodness, watch out!
Go ahead. I know you're gonna yell.
Yell? Me? Why, I'm the consummate professional. I'd never yell. On camera. But that should be much easier to do, considering this race alone we've lost 4 cameras. 1 in an explosion.
You should be thrilled, Barry. That's a scrapyard first! The fans must be losing their minds! We'll probably even pick up a few new subscribers. But let's take a closer look at what went wrong once they got into the bottleneck.
It seemed like the party wagon was going for a brutal pit maneuver, but missed, and he was never able to straighten out.
And the van hit that exit ramp perpendicular and was launched out of the bottleneck. And the party was all over for that wagon.
Luckily, Speed Buggy took Carmine Corner at full speed, and he cleared it before that camera met a terrible fate.
And right before the ninjas flew off the track, they hit the camera tower so hard, it toppled over, landing in Carmine Corner. I guess you can say Camera Tower 3 and the Turtles both ended this heat with a bang.
And they weren't the only ones, because after getting loose through Clunker Canyon, Speed Buggy hits the outside wall in the boulevard and then spins like he's on the Carnival Teacups ride, and also makes the finish line cam go out with a bang, bringing us to a grand total of 4 destroyed cameras in 3 heats.
See, Barry? Another scrapyard first. And speaking of first, after that explosive performance, Speed Buggy puts his second win on the scorecard, making him tonight's overall winner, and that also means he's the first one to secure his spot in the finals. But before that, we'll have to watch semifinal race 2.
Semifinals. As always, I'm your host, Barnabas Tone.
And this is me, your co-host, Frederick Allen Seto.
This is our last semi-final race. Today, we will find out who will fill the last spot in the finals for a chance to win it all.
And don't forget, I have a super secret bonus at the end of it all. But before any of that, let's take a closer look at the racers competing today. Up first, it's someone not racing for glory, but for money. It's race car driver for hire, Louis Tokar, driving for Oriana Flub Racing. He's in the GRX, rumored to be the fastest car in the world. And Mr. Tokar showed us just how fast the GRX was way back in race number 5, when he beat He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. And Mr. Tokar will be up against the leader of the gang of assassins, Assassin number 1. That car might only have 3 wheels, but it's as agile, tricky, and tough as a Sherman tank with a jet engine. And speaking of military vehicles, let's not forget, he beat Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe in the very first race of this tournament. And let's really not forget that his car isn't the only tricky thing in this tournament, because in race 3, his teammate, Assassin number 2, took out the Scooby Gang and then self-eliminated, so his boss could get a free pass into the semi-finals.
Now that the introductions are out of the way, let's get up to the guillotine gate and get this race started. Here we are, race fans. Starting off in lane 1, it's Assassin number 1. And in lane 2, it's the GRX.
Barry, the safety crew did their track pre-check while we were doing the racer intros, so this race is ready to go. Hit it, Alvin! Alvin! Alvin!
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin blocks! Whoa! GRX pulls through! GRX flies off the track!
You know what, Barry? They're tunes. I'm sure they're okay. They'll be good as new before we finish the replay. Right? Right?
If you say so, Al. Can I just say, that was quite a way to kick off these semi-finals. And the best part is exactly 0 cameras were destroyed during this heat.
Cameras, Barry? Cameras? That's what you're worried about?
That's what I'm worried about first, Al. Second is look at the way they both shoot out of the guillotine gate. We could see as soon as the guillotine goes up, the assassin immediately goes for a block as they make their way down Nevada.
And that move sends the GRX sideways into the bottleneck.
But then coming out of the bottleneck, assassin number 1 miscalculates and hits that final barrel and sends him violently flying off the track.
And he goes hard into the junk and sends junk and dust flying everywhere. Luckily, all ninjas know the tuck and roll technique, so I'm sure he's just fine. He's fine. Right, Barry?
If you say so, Al. But who was fine, at least temporarily, was the GRX, because he takes Carmine Corner in reverse, and while gaining speed. Yet regrettably, it proves to be too much speed because he launches off the tarmac at Clunker Canyon, resulting in our second explosion of dust and junk.
Don't jinx us, Barry. Don't say explosion. I'm sure he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Right, Barry?
If you say so, Al.
But what's not fine is our scorecard, because with neither racer crossing the line, no one gets to put up a win.
Here we are back at the Guillotine Gate for Heat 2. It appears we have a lane change with the GRX in Lane 1 and the Assassin in Lane 2. And look at that, Al. Everyone is as good as new.
See, Barry? I told you they'd be fine, and they're fine.
If you say so, Al. Now, someone else who has something to say is that Chipmunk with our countdown.
3, 2, 1, go!
GRX blocks!
GRX rolls!
GRX stalls out! Assassin hits the clunkers!
He hits the wall! He stalls out! And just barely crosses the line! Wow! I need to see that again! Well, we were able to keep everyone on the track.
And more importantly, our cameras are still intact.
As they come down Nevada, the GRX waits until the last possible moment and executes a beautiful pit maneuver, sending the assassin spinning as he enters the bottleneck.
But the GRX is made for straight line speed, not handling, so he can't swerve fast enough, and he barrel rolls his way through the bottleneck.
And this is what I wanted to see again, Barry. The GRX's pit maneuver looks like it was really effective, because the assassin's car was stalling out at the center of the turn in Carmine Corner, and then the GRX coming in hot bumps him so hard that it kickstarts the assassin's car, and it's the GRX that stalls out.
And when you get rear-ended by the fastest car in the world, it's gonna give you one heck of a kickstart, because he goes flying through Clunker Canyon. Even sideswiping a few clunkers along the way does little to slow down the assassin.
Well, what does slow down the assassin is the final metal barrier in the boulevard. He hits it hard, and it shuts off his engine immediately. Plus, he had just enough momentum to ricochet off the opposite wall and just barely get one wheel over the finish line. That might be the first time in Scrapyard history that a car stalled, not once, but twice in the same heat and still managed to win.
And with that win, the assassin is first to put something up on the scorecard.
Wow, that last heat certainly heated things up. The GRX has no hope but to put the pedal to the metal and let it all burn, because he needs to win this heat to force a tiebreaker.
The racers are back in their original lanes with the GRX in lane 1 and the assassin in lane 2. Good luck, gentlemen.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin spins!
He's off track!
GRX all alone! Watch out!
Oh no! The camera!
Wow, Bob! Wow, Bob! Emergency! Emergency! We need you!
Don't you worry none, son. I'll get the trusty old yellow jacket up into the great blue yonder, and me and the rest of the safety crew will get this sorted out by the time you and Mr. Rulebook do the replay.
I really hope everyone is okay.
Don't worry, Al. We have the best junkyard racing safety crew on the planet.
Don't we have the only junkyard racing safety crew on the planet?
Exactly. And that automatically makes them the best. Now, let's look how once again the GRX was able to execute a pit maneuver as the assassin was trying to cut across coming down Nevada.
And as the assassin goes into a wild, uncontrollable spin, the GRX bunny hops his way through the bottleneck.
And Assassin is unable to hold on and flies off the track. I've been informed he flew clear off our property, so luckily it won't affect our insurance at all.
Is that what you're worried about?
Well, you said so yourself, Al. Every ninja knows the tuck and roll, so I'm sure he's just fine. Moving on. Just like the GRX who moved on so fast through Carmine Corner, he actually broke the sound barrier with a sonic boom.
And going that fast, there was no way Mr. Tokar could have hoped to keep that car on the track. I said at the gate he needed to put the pedal to the metal, but I did not mean this.
Right, Al. Instead of putting the pedal to the metal, he put the whole GRX through the bottleneck cam. In fact, he was traveling so fast, I don't think the camera even realized it was hit that hard, because somehow it took a moment for us to lose transmission.
And that trusty cam did give us some beautiful footage of the biggest wreck we've ever had in the history of the Scrapyard.
And unfortunately, that trusty cam is no more, up in a cloud of fire and smoke.
The camera? What about Louis Tokar? Let's check in with Wild Bob and see if he has any updates. Bob, Wild Bob, can you hear me? What's the word on the GRX? Over.
Well, he was a hired driver, so it looks like Miss Oriana Flub will have one check left uncashed.
What are you saying, Bob?
What I'm saying is, he went from being the driver of the world's fastest car to laying down as a passenger in the world's slowest Cadillac.
Do you mean...
Yes, sir. I'm saying that tune has been erased.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Not in here. We already have to replace a camera. I don't also want to submit a bill for a new carpet. Well, fans, it looks like with that explosive conclusion, no one puts a win on the scorecard. Luckily, the assassin had a win from a previous heat, making him tonight's overall winner. He has just secured his place in the finals. If he can find his way back onto the property, he'll face Speed Buggy the next time we meet. As you could tell by that opening title card, these are the finals.
Wow! I am so excited for the finals, Barry. I'm even more excited for my ultra super secret bonus at the end of it all. But I'll go into further detail about that later. Let's get into the reason why we are all here. Assassin number 1, Speed Buggy, the finals. And here's a quick recap just in case this is your first time here at the Scrapyard and you don't know anything about today's racers.
Big race today.
Up first, it's Speed Buggy, the first car we've ever had at the Scrapyard to drive itself. He sent Speed Racer back home to Pops in race 4. Then he ended the Ninja Turtles party in the first race of the semi-finals. And Speed Buggy will be facing the leader of the gang of assassins, Assassin number 1. He got here today by beating Snake Eyes to the point of vehicular seppuku in the very first race of this tournament. Then in race 3, his teammate, Assassin number 2, took out the Scooby Gang and himself to give his boss a free pass into the semi-finals, in which Assassin number 1, with only 3 wheels, beat the world's fastest car, the GRX, in the most explosive race in Scrapyard history.
Now that the introductions are out of the way, let's get up to the guillotine gate and get these finals started. Here we are at the guillotine gate. Starting off in lane 1, it's Assassin number 1. And in lane 2, it's Speed Buggy.
Barry, just look at those two. Could they be any more different? Speed Buggy's wheels are taller than the Assassin's whole car. The Assassin only has 3 wheels. No one is at Speed Buggy's wheels. Speed Buggy is a car that talks. The Assassin is a driver that's silent. Could they be any more different? You know what? I just can't wait any longer. Let's get it started, Chipmunk.
3, 2, 1,
Assassin cuts in!
Whoa!
Who put the antifreeze in my carburetor? Yeah.
Speed Buggy is out! Assassin on his roof!
He grinds to a standstill!
This one is all over. That was quite a start to these finals, Al. Very exciting. The assassin gets the jump off the line coming out of the guillotine gate.
And then, coming down Nevada, he immediately cuts in front of Speed Buggy.
And he immediately goes into a perpendicular block.
Speed Buggy is desperately trying for a pit maneuver, but it's nearly impossible. I guess that's the advantage of only having one rear wheel.
Then, coming into Carline Corner, the assassin forces Speed Buggy high into the turn. And that causes one of those aforementioned huge rear tires to burst as it rubs against the outside wall.
What's really amazing is even with a blown tire, Speed Buggy manages to deliver an amazing block against the assassin, flipping him over. I guess that's the disadvantage of only having one rear wheel.
Yet still impressively, the assassin manages to scrape his way down Clunker Canyon.
Unfortunately, he just nicks that final clunker on the way out, and that might have been all it took to slow him down just enough to only get halfway down the boulevard.
A massive tire blows out sees Speed Buggy end up with only 3 good wheels. But the assassin who only had 3 good wheels to start with ends up on his hood with no wheels at all, leaving both racers with 0 wins on the scorecard. Here we are back at the gate. A quick lane change sees Speed Buggy now in lane 1, and the assassin shifts right to lane 2.
Barry, that's a really tight lineup. Looks like they're in a very aggressive formation even before the gate goes up.
3, 2, 1, go!
They go wide?
Speed Buggy is off track.
Assassin hits the clunkers!
He's out of control.
Assassin crosses the line!
And destroys another camera.
Well, Barry, it looks like they fooled me. I thought they were lining up tight to start crunching fenders once the guillotine gate went up. But instead, they actually went wide coming down Nevada and completely avoided each other.
And they accelerate so fast the assassin can't keep those 3 wheels on the track and actually appears to be floating through the bottleneck.
Meanwhile, it's Speed Buggy who can't slow down coming into Carmine Corner, and he goes flying violently off the track.
The assassin trying hard to regain control in Clunker Canyon goes once again into that final clunker.
And that sends him spinning faster than the main rotor blade on the yellow jacket. But he does make it across the line.
Unlike our finish line cam, which does not make it.
Well, the assassin spins his way onto the scorecard for the first time. Speed Buggy now needs to win the next heat in hopes to tie things up and force a tiebreaker. Here we are, back at the guillotine gate for the final heat.
We are back to the original starting positions with assassin number 1 in lane 1 and its Speed Buggy in lane 2.
For the final time, take it away, Alvin.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin blocks!
Assassin gaining speed!
Speed Buggy struggles to keep up. Assassin warp speeds across the line! Wow, that was nuts!
Let's break it all down, Al.
Well, Barry, we got a nice, blazing fast start off the line.
The assassin, knowing he can't allow the buggy to win, immediately goes in for a block coming down Nevada.
Then, Speed Buggy sends himself into a spin, trying to break free of that block. That was a great move.
While it did allow the buggy to break free, it gave the assassin the opportunity to open up that 3-wheeler and go all out into Carmine Corner.
Then, he expertly uses one of the clunkers to straighten out and increase his speed even more.
And the buggy tries valiantly to use that moment to catch up.
But it doesn't matter because the assassin is traveling at a blinding speed down the boulevard.
In semi-final race 2, the GRX actually broke the sound barrier, delivering a jaw-dropping sonic boom. And while that might be the greatest speed ever achieved on the Scrapyard track, he unfortunately didn't make it across the line. That is all to say, the assassin may have attained the fastest speed across the line ever in Scrapyard history. He didn't just go into the finish line, Cam. He went through it. It instantly vaporized upon impact. If I didn't have to fill out and fax an expense report in triplicate, I'd almost be stunned to the point of speechlessness.
Barry, I love it when you get speechless. It always involves you blabbing for at least 5 minutes. Hey, but who's keeping score?
You! That's literally your job right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot! With that speed record-breaking win, the assassin puts his second win on the scorecard. And with that, while he may have won the finals, he hasn't won it all yet. There's still my ultra super secret bonus at the end of it all. He has to win one final race. And if you've been paying attention, in race 1 I said there would be some special rules for that event. What will they be? You'll have to tune in to see. See what I did there, Barry? Tune in. Like cartoons. Where would this channel be without my comedy, Barry?
Probably at 1 million subscribers.
Hey!
As you could tell by that opening title card, these are the grand finals.
That's right, Barry. This is the super secret bonus at the end of it all. In this tournament, we've had the best cartoon drivers in history, and we've also had the best self-driving cartoon car in cartoon history. But what if the best driver and the best self-driving car were the same person? Or same car? Or whatever, who cares? What if they were one and the same?
Al, what in the name of Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch are you even talking about?
I'm talking about a cartoon driver so great that every other cartoon conspired to lock him in the realm of forgotten cartoons. But here's the thing. Wild Bob led a special mission to go and rescue him.
That's right, Barry. And that ride was as bumpy as the back of my Aunt Bertha's neck. But instead of yapping on about it, why don't I just show you who I done rescue?
Now, it was a stormy night when a bolt of lightning forced me off the road. My car skidded into a government laboratory where a top-secret experiment was underway. I swerved into the path of Dr. Chase's molecular transfer ray, causing me and my car to become one. The incredible Turbo Team!
That's right, Assassin number 1 has to beat the best of cartoon drivers of all time, Turbo Teen. Now let's get up to the guillotine gate and get this Grand Cartoon Championship final started.
Here we are at the Guillotine Gate. Starting off in Lane 1, it's Assassin number 1. And in Lane 2, for the first time on our track, or any track since 1984, it's the Turbo Teen.
And while the safety officials are doing their last-minute checks, I just want to remind everyone that during the very first race of this tournament, I said this. Only one new rule. But that's for the ultra super secret bonus at the end of it all. And that new rule is, the winner must win 2 heats in a row.
Wow, Al, I actually love it. The officials have given us a green light. Let's cut to the chipmunk.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin cuts in!
Turbo Team breaks through!
Assassin is out!
Turbo Team in reverse!
And into the camera. No, wait, it's back, and so is he! I can't believe it! The finish line cam has survived!
Barry, the replay?
Oh yes, of course.
Did you see? Do you see now, Barry, why Turbo Teen is the best? Let's break it all down. Once the guillotine goes up, the assassin immediately cuts in with his perpendicular block. And coming down Nevada, Turbo Teen expertly pinballs the assassin off the wall, breaking free. Then, check this out, Barry. I love this. Coming into the bottleneck, the assassin tries his flipping block and misses, but Turbo Teen turns the tables and blocks on the way out of the bottleneck. We've never seen that before, Barry. Ever!
And that block seems to have been extremely effective, because as the Turbo Teen shifts into reverse to take Carmine Corner, the assassin stalls and limps to a stop by the safety crew.
Then, Turbo Teen, showing off his skill, comes down Clunker Canyon as straight as a laser beam, and in reverse! Then, to show off even more, he pulls off a reverse drift before crossing the line. And I don't know if this is a secret shout out to us, but he hits my safety rocks and your finish line cam.
That was obviously my favorite part, Al. Of all the finish line cams this channel has gone through, the Turbo Teen was the first to tap one and not turn it into a bucket of parts.
I hope everyone can see now why every cartoon would conspire to lock up TT in the realm of forgotten cartoons, because Turbo Teen just delivered the blueprint performance on how races are won. And if he wins the next one, this grand final will be all over.
Here we are at the Guillotine Gate for Heat 2. We are gonna keep the same start positions for the remainder of the grand finals.
And the rest could not be very long if Turbo Teen locks it all up right here and right now.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin blocks! Turbo Teen barrel rolls!
Assassin into the clunkers! He crosses the line! And destroys the finish line cam!
Wow, I was not expecting that, Barry.
Let's break it all down. As per usual, when the Guillotine Gate goes up, the assassin immediately cuts that three-wheeler in front of the Turbo Teen. That perpendicular block coming down Nevada has been the assassin's signature move for this whole tournament, and it's what helped him get here today.
And it looks like Turbo Teen was trying to bounce him off the wall again, but waited too long and ended up clipping the edge of the bottleneck. And he tried to barrel roll his way back onto his wheels while upside down in Carmine Corner, but he just catches the corner of that EMT van at the safety station.
But just take a gander at the way he up and steers clear of my whirlybird, contorting himself all types of ways to make sure the yellow jacket stays scratch-free. Now that there's what I call respect.
But all that respect just clears the way for the assassin to use the clunkers to straighten himself out. And for no reason whatsoever, he spins at the line, seemingly purposely taking out and destroying yet another finish line cam. If the Turbo Teen is all about showing respect, the assassin is showing that he's all about dirty tricks and kicking you while you're down.
Well, disrespectful or not, the one thing that is not a trick is the assassin has cut off Turbo Teen's chance at a shutout, and now puts himself in a position for a 2-in-a-row win. Heat 3. Turbo Teen, who started with an early advantage, now finds himself in a tight spot.
If the assassin wins this one, the Turbo Teen may find himself once again hopelessly lost in the annals of cartoon obscurity.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Melodrama. I think that's quite enough. Alvin, if you'd please.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin goes for the block!
The Turbo Teen makes it around!
Turbo Teen on his roof!
Oh, the finish line cam.
Looks like Turbo Teen is back in the game. It seems like the assassin is gonna keep using his perpendicular block.
Yes, he seems to be using the if it ain't broke, don't fix it strategy.
But once again proving just how awesome he is, Turbo Teen slams on his brakes just before the assassin can block, totally negating his whole signature move.
It was so effective that Turbo Teen seems to be celebrating by spinning into reverse and pulling off a little bicycle move.
Then, coming into Carmine Corner, Turbo Teen goes high on the outer wall and shows the assassin that 4 wheels are faster than 3. Plus, look at this right here, Barry. It's almost like Turbo Teen is letting every toon and the world know there's only one Trans Am that matters on this track, and he knocks into our clunker Trans Am to deliver that message.
Furthermore, as if he already knows he cut off the assassin's chance at a 2 in a row, the Turbo Teen decides to roof slide across the line. And as an apparent hat tip to me, he taps the camera but leaves it operational.
But not for long, because in what looks like a fit of rage, the assassin sends his car spinning and sends our finish line cam to the trash heap.
Thanks to the Turbo Teen's win, the assassin's chances at a 2 in a row have just been cut off, as has been our scorecard. It looks as if this grand final is going into extra heats. Here we are back at the guillotine gate for Heat 4, our first official overtime heat.
And once again, Turbo Teen is back in a position where he's looking for his 2nd in a row win.
But as we just saw, the assassin is boiling over with rage from that last heat. Let's see if he channels it into determination or blows it in frustration.
3, 2, 1, go!
Turbo Teen flips!
Assassin has a huge lead!
Turbo Teen on his roof!
Assassin across the line and into the cam! Wait, we still have picture! The Turbo Teen falls short! This one is all over. Well, color me impressed, Al. That was an amazing bit of driving by the assassin. Coming down Nevada, the assassin actually fakes his perpendicular block. But then he uses the transition at the bottleneck to actually get under the Turbo Teen and flip him over.
But Turbo Teen does not give up. He actually drafts behind the assassin and takes Carmine Corner on his roof. Then, in Clunker Canyon, the assassin spins himself to double-check how big of a lead he has.
I guess that's his only option, to look over his shoulder since he doesn't have a rear window. And what has me looking over my shoulder is how the assassin crossed the line and only knocked into our finish line cam instead of utterly destroying it. Is this his new strategy for the win? After all his rage in Heat 3, are we now seeing a kinder, gentler assassin number 1?
I don't know, Barry. Look at the way he eases back into the shot as Turbo Teen falls just short of roof sliding across the line. It's almost as if he's trying to frame it where he is clearly on the winning side of the line, and Turbo Teen is not. That's not very kinder and gentler, or sportsmanlike.
Well, sportsmanlike or not, the assassin has put a win on the scorecard, now putting himself in the 2 wins in a row position. Heat 5, the assassin looking for the win, the Turbo Teen looking to save a little face after losing so much paint.
And that paint was literally on his face. Or is it his back? I think it's his back that turns into the roof.
Al, focus. The chipmunk is ready.
3, 2, 1, go!
Turbo Teen blocks!
Assassin is out!
Turbo Teen is... Wow!
Turbo Teen on his roof and across the line! And spinning?
Barry, let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. Wow, Barry. Just wow. As they come down Nevada, the assassin once again only hints at his perpendicular block. And once again in the bottleneck, he tries to get under Turbo Teen. But Turbo Teen somehow reverses it and gets under the assassin and flips him. How does he do that? It's like a mind puzzle.
After delivering that devastating block, the Turbo Teen comes into Carmine Corner at full speed, and the assassin, having taken so much damage, skids to a halt in the middle of the turn.
And now comes the point where Turbo Teen teaches us all a lesson, Barry.
How so, Al?
In the last heat, the assassin used Clunker Canyon to spin back and see how big of a lead he had while Turbo Teen was on his roof. So, Turbo Teen purposely launches himself into the Clunker Cam, taking out everyone's ability to quote-unquote see. But being one of the good guys, he doesn't break the camera, just knock it out of alignment because it comes back in time for us to see the clunkers go over the edge. Then the lesson continues because in the last heat, Turbo Teen on his roof seemingly fell short of crossing the line. So in this heat, coming down the boulevard, he not only crosses the line on his roof, but he goes into the rocks and the cam just like the assassin did and comes back into the shot just like the assassin did, but is spinning on his roof, or back, I think that's his back, showing off that even though this heat is over, he still has plenty of go left in him.
Now it's the Turbo Teen framing the final shot of himself on the winning side of the line, while the assassin is nowhere in sight. Simply amazing. And with that, the Turbo Teen has backspinned his way into a position for a 2-in-a-row win. Heat 6. The back and forth between these two has been a joy to watch. The hard-fought jockeying for position has been a refreshing delight.
I don't know, Barry. The assassin doesn't look delighted. I mean, look how far away from Turbo Teen he lined up. For the first time in this tournament, he actually looks shaken.
Well, he better get his masthead back in the game quickly because the chipmunk is ready to go.
3, 2, 1, go!
Down they go!
Turbo Teen in reverse!
What a move!
Turbo Teen takes it at the line! I don't believe it! I don't believe it! Turbo Teen was on a mission, Barry. And by the way this race just turned out, he can loudly say, mission accomplished.
The Turbo Teen fakes a block coming down Nevada, and the assassin spins himself trying to avoid.
Nevada has always been where the assassin pulled off his perpendicular block, and now he was spinning himself.
Then in the bottleneck, the Turbo Teen fakes the underneath block, and again the assassin spins himself to avoid.
I told you he looked shaken in the guillotine gate. Now he's jumpy, sheepishly throwing himself into a spin every time Turbo Teen fakes a block.
But still coming into Carmine Corner as the Turbo Teen throws himself into reverse, it's the assassin who has the lead.
Or so it would seem, because this time in Clunker Canyon, Turbo Teen's block was not a fake, but devastatingly real. He flips the assassin over, and now it's the assassin who is hoping to have enough roof slide momentum to make it across the line. And here's the rub. Turbo Teen actually gives him a little push to help him across, but then steers around the assassin and guns it across the line at the very last possible moment. And then after the assassin manages to barely make it across the line, Turbo Teen comes back into frame. Like he wants this to be the picture on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper.
This has been some of the most impressive driving I have ever seen by a man, or a car, or a man car. Whatever. It was impressive. And with that embarrassment-delivering win, the Turbo Teen has gotten his 2-in-a-row win, while the assassin delivered some major upsets and devastating defeats during the tournament. It just wasn't enough against the Turbo Teen. The Turbo Teen has gone from a forgotten, unknown, super-secret bonus to the Grand Cartoon Champion.
I really think Turbo Teen could have gotten that 2-in-a-row win at any point, Barry, but at some point it got personal. And I think Turbo Teen was delivering a message to the rest of the cartoon world by proxy of the assassin. And he's saying it loud and clear. The world may have forgotten me, but make no mistake, Turbo Teen is the best cartoon driver of all time. And with that stupendous win, our tournament is coming to a close. Thank you to all our cartoon participants and to Wild Bob for helping me rescue Turbo Teen.
No problemo, partner. And don't you forget to thank all the fans for watching. And if you done made it this far, why don't you do us all a favor by hitting that there subscribe button?
Like Wild Bob said, thank you all for watching. All you fans make all the work and effort that goes into these racing videos worthwhile. As always, it has been a pleasure being your host. This is Barnabas Tone, signing off.
So what did you guys think of the cartoon serial? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you did like this video, please share it with your friends. And let us know what kinds of tournaments, events, or races you'd like to see here at the Scrapyard. And from all of us, thank you so much. And we hope you tune in next time. Get it? Tune in next time.
They get it, Al. In fact, they've all gotten too much of your jokes. Just say good night.
Good night.